So my name is Yair Geva. I'm the head of the HiTech group at HFN, Herzog Fox Neyman. It's the largest law firm in Israel. Before joining HFN, I was a senior associate at Davis Polk and Gibson Dunn in New York. I've been working there for quite some time on major M&A transactions. At HFN, I work with startups, early stage companies, growth companies, and larger companies on all their activities, specifically their financings, corporate matters, and exits, which could be sale, acquisitions, mergers, and IPOs. So what I like the most about working with Swiss companies is professional and mature way they do business. In Israel, typically entrepreneurs are young guys right after army service. In Switzerland, you typically encounter people that are vast experience. Most of them had careers in banking, in other financial institutions, etc., who've developed an expertise in the area, and then they move to work on the new ventures. And that combination of innovation, early stage, young guys in Israel, and more mature, well-rounded, scalable understanding in Switzerland, to me, are a great combination. You know, at HFN, and specifically in my group, we often recommend Israeli companies to go and work where regulation is well set, is clear, is understood and transparent. There is, especially in those areas that are just developing, such as the blockchain, there is a tendency for quite a few of the guys to go to those offshore areas or less developed markets where they believe they connect more quickly, more efficiently, more cost effectively. We actually take quite a contrary approach. We believe in long-term, establishing long-term companies with vision, with strength, that are scalable. And as such, we like to operate in those markets that are clear, set, transparent, where you know what the regulation, what to expect, etc. To me, it's a great destination. I believe that great changes will happen. Swiss has always been an innovation country. I think people are now more daring to take risks, to quit their day jobs and start a new venture. I think there's a lot of support also from the government by setting the framework, the infrastructure, and most importantly, which is what played for Israel, is the VC industry. We see a growing tendency to invest in Switzerland. We see more venture capital coming into Switzerland. We see Swiss family offices, etc., that are now putting money and risking money into new ventures. And as such, I foresee that in the next 5 years, you're going to see a much more flourishing ecosystem of early stage tech companies. There's been an article today in the Forbes. It is possible that the 2000 crash is coming back. And there are some similarities, some of them are very striking, and on the other hand, major differences. I don't think there is a bubble. 2018 has been a record year. We've been active in numerous M&A exits. Flow of capital into Israel is record-breaking, probably more than anywhere in the world other than the US. We've had exits. We sold SodaStream to Pepsi Cola, where we acted for Pepsi, by the way. Signia to Temasek, Tapingo to GrabUp, and many other deals. So we see huge exits. Serial entrepreneurs, those that sold companies, come back, establish new companies, easier to fund those companies, sell them again. So we see a very developed ecosystem where companies grow much faster in significant scales. You see these days financing rounds of $50 million, while 5 years ago they were $5 million. You would see private equity funds from the US and elsewhere coming in and putting in big money and pumping up companies and allowing them to grow very quickly, rapidly, like US companies. On the other hand, that huge flow of capital is not necessarily finding the right targets so easily. I would say that there may be more capital than right targets. The sectors that are more active in Israel these days, number one, I would say AI, anything around artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, across sectors, you know, from automotives to health, is probably the most interesting trend. You look at companies like Spark Beyond and others that are really deploying artificial intelligence at the highest levels into cross sectors. Automotive, you know, Israel has not developed a car for many years now, but we have become probably the world leaders in terms of the automotive sector. Digital health. So all the big investors, VCs like OrbiMed and others are now deploying capital into digital health. And of course, that's the application of AI on the health sector. Biotech is growing tremendously. We had huge successes in the last couple of years. All these areas are becoming very, very hot and active. What Israel has to learn from Switzerland, to me, is a professional, mature, scalable approach. I would say more multinational, works with various institutions in a global scale. Israeli companies can, leverage on the ability of Swiss to be working closely with various countries, various jurisdictions, under various laws, with various cultures. In Israel, the focus has been the US market for many years now, and I think Switzerland can give that access to European markets, as well as to develop scalable, huge businesses, which have been developed in Switzerland, not only in financial institutions, also, for example, in the pharma industry. What Switzerland can learn from Israel is entrepreneurship, the ability and the willingness to take risk and fail and try again until you are successful. Risk a position in this or that bank and take a dream to the next step. Both countries have a lot to do together, being small markets that need and must actually access larger markets in order to be successful. I think huge successes could be leveraging on scalability and infrastructure of Switzerland with this entrepreneurship spirit of Israel. Take, for example, the biotech area. Huge ideas here in the universities, the tech institutions. Turning this into commercial products and actually going and sell a pharmaceutical drug is a big challenge. And a combination of that Swiss mentality and knowledge and know-how with this Israeli innovation is probably a very promising idea to pursue. You could have now venture capital money coming from Israel into the Swiss ecosystem. It sounds crazy. You would think that in Switzerland you have the capital and here you have the talent. That's what Israelis would think. But there's a lack of venture capital in Switzerland still, and there's a lot of capital available in Israel that is seeking opportunities globally now. So many of the VCs here are now looking also at Europe to deploy their capital, and I think that's also an interesting place to look in the next couple of years.